Samantha was a maze of emotions as she sank into the couch cushions, tears streaming down her face. The weight of guilt pressing down on her made the room feel smaller than it was. The scent of lavender filled the air, a memory of the time Scott surprised her with a bouquet of her favorite flowers on one of their first dates. The door creaked open, and Samantha heard the familiar hum of Scott's voice as he called out her name. She tried to swallow her sobs, not wanting to alert him of her emotional state. But it was too late. Scott, after hanging his coat, quickly made his way into the living room, his brow furrowed in concern. "Sam," he said, alarm evident in his voice. "What's wrong?" Scott sat beside her, wrapping an arm around her, pulling her close. His warmth, the very essence of him, made Samantha choke on her tears even more. He kissed her forehead, trying to offer some solace. It's good news, right?" Scott asked hesitantly, attempting to find any silver lining. His optimism had always been a source of strength for Samantha. She wished she could fall into his belief, his hope, but all she felt was the heavy weight of a secret she hadn't anticipated carrying. Samantha took a shaky breath. "Scott, there's something I need to tell you." Scott's face was a picture of pure love and concern. "Anything, Sam. You know you can tell me anything." But could she? Could she reveal that she had betrayed their love? And worse, that she might be carrying a child that could not be his? She remembered the countless nights they dreamt of their future, of the family they'd raise and the new home they'd just bought. A home filled with love, laughter, and the patter of tiny feet. "You remember Eric?" Samantha began hesitantly. Scott stiffened. "Your ex? The one you said was just a friend?" She nodded, fresh tears spilling from her eyes. "I'm so sorry, Scott. I never meant for it to happen. But over the past month, we got close, and," she trailed off, not able to find the right words. The room was thick with silence, Scott's face pale as he processed her words. His grip around her loosened slightly, but he didn't pull away. Instead, he took a deep breath. "Is that why you're crying? Because you're scared of how I'll react?" Samantha hesitated before nodding, partly. "But there's more. Scott. I think I'm pregnant." He looked deep into her eyes, searching for some truth, some explanation. "And you don't know if it's mine?" She shook her head, unable to speak. They sat in silence, two souls adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Scott was the first to break the silence. "We'll figure this out, Samantha. But you have to promise me something." "What?" she whispered. "No more secrets. No matter how painful." The realization dawned on him that trust, once broken, was almost impossible to rebuild even if the circumstances weren't under the ones facing him. He loved Samantha, but he wasn't sure if he could ever trust her again. The days that followed were filled with introspection. Scott finally made the difficult decision to end the relationship. He needed to find peace and clarity, away from the web of lies and betrayal. As for Samantha, she had to face the consequences of her actions and find her own path to redemption. Scott knew he may be the father and was ready to deal with everything that came with it. He had to wait for the results from the DNA test while his heart was healing. In the end of the ordeal, he felt he had learned a great deal from this experience, as it really was the only positive way to look at it. He realized someone who claims to love you respects your feelings as they do their own. He knew in the end she didn't, and while starting over was horrible, he knew he deserved better.